it's just an example. Purdue losing to Fresno State is okay. We still win the Big Ten West. But me,
Really, Napier gets fired. I'm just kidding.
hey, really the best time of the year. I will be seated watching the Red Zone for 7 hours on Sunday. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to an episode of Backyard Banter. Obviously, a new look here. If you're new, please hit the subscribe button. We just hit 300 a few weeks ago, on the road to 400 now. We are blessed to be joined by one of our friends, content creator, businessman, Nate. He's at Nate Dank on Instagram, TikTok, anything like that. Nate, how you doing today? Thank you for coming on with us.
I'm great. Thank you for having me. It's honestly special seeing you guys. You've been building this page for a while now, and just seeing you kind of come up through the ranks. It's really cool. Someone who creates content myself, it always pushes me to the next level when I see that those people that are next up. So it's really cool to see what you guys are doing, and proud of you guys.
Yeah,
Man, it's a grind. It's a grind.
Funny story. I met Nate walking back from church on the on-campus church. Is the first time that I met Nate. We're all three of us are pretty big in our faith, and it was just kind of funny. It was just it might have been James maybe 5 or 6 episodes in, and obviously Nate has a huge following, and he was like, "Man, I've seen y'all. Like y'all are doing good. Like keep going." And to hear that at first, Nate, I don't even know if you know this, gave me and gave all of us just a ton of confidence. And now I think this is episode 66, 67. Just just know is a big part of it is because of, always the kind words that you've had, and always the constant encouragement that you've given us.
Absolutely. Absolutely got to. That's how you start.
For sure.
Empire.
Well, we're just going to get right into questions for you. Obviously, you're a big basketball fan, so we're going to get into talking ball in a little bit. But first, for you, obviously, you have a huge following, especially on Instagram. Kind of talk about how you got there. How did you want to start making reaction videos? Talk about just the grind of it, because we know it now. Sometimes you have videos that get 50 to 100 views, and then you'll have videos that get 10,000 views, or in your case, 1 million views. So kind of talk about that grind and how you got to where you're at.
Yeah, great question. Thanks again for having me on. So it pretty much started, I've been creating content since at this point birth. My brother was always making like home videos, and I kind of tapped into that a little bit. Long story short, moved to Alabama. My next door neighbors in Birmingham, they hopped on a new platform called YouTube, and they started making these trick shot videos. And I was this little kid. I'm like running around the neighborhood watching them make these videos. And all of a sudden they started blowing up, and they were getting like all these they were doing commercials. They were on ESPN. They were on local news stations. I mean, they were blowing up, and it was them. It was Legendary Shots and Dude Perfect. It was both of them just coming up at the time. Now, obviously, we know Dude Perfect surpassed them insurmountably, but they definitely had their foot in the game, and they were one of those like first people to break into that niche of trick shots on YouTube. Anyways, long story short, it got me into making videos. I saw those opportunities. I'm like, you can make a video and get on TV. Like, that's crazy, So I started my own content creation journey all the way up when I got to college. I thought I was going to be a dermatologist, like I say, without trying. I took those chemistry classes, and I was like, oh, there's no chance, bro. So I went back to what I was good at: marketing, business, content creation, social media. And I said, well, I feel like I just got to put in the work. And so for a while, I'd say I looked like an idiot, probably to most people. I was making just stupid videos, funny videos. And as time went on, I built a following through TikTok. TikTok was going to get banned, so then I moved to Instagram. And that's where the real grind began for me. It was Instagram. I got to like 10K. I said, you know what? I'm going to just pick like reaction videos, and I'm going to just roll with it, because, you never get into something and know like 100% what you're doing. So I said, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to do it, and I did it. And then I started getting better at it. I figured out like the timing in the video, the different types of videos to react to. I knew like when I posted a video, I'm like, okay, this is going to blow, like I knew it. So I started getting to that point where it was easy for me to kind of pick and choose what my content was. It took about 2 years because I was inconsistent, but once I locked in my page blew up. And then from there, I built my business, which is my social media agency, Better Socials. And it's been kind of smooth sailing since. So yeah, it's been a ride, it's been a journey. But I would say to somebody like you guys who are just kind of at the forefront of it still, consistency is the biggest part.
Yeah.
Staying consistent.
Yeah, I remember the first time I met you, like I would come over and play cards with Colin. I mean the days back in the day, back in school and whatnot. And the first time I met you, I had no idea that you had so many followers on Instagram and whatnot. And it took a couple weeks for me to like follow you on Instagram. I'm like, dang, like this guy's like popping. Like so it was cool to like, not know you as a influencer, but as a guy that transitioned to, okay, this guy's got, an influencer kind of Instagram going. So my question is, the videos you post can sometimes be a little out of pocket, right? Like the reaction videos are like some of the most crazy and far-fetched things. So is that what your Instagram Reels is full of, just out of pocket stuff? Or do you get sent videos to react to? Like, how do you find these crazy videos that you react to?
Yeah, so my feed is pretty much just like cursed, as you could call it. Like it's just crazy. I find a lot of these videos now, a lot of my followers now that I'm at this point, they just send me the videos and they're like, dude, you got to react to this. So it's kind of just like a never-ending cycle. But yeah. So I guess that answers your question. Yeah, I find them, I see them on my free page and all my feed pages, and then I get sent them. So
That's fire. That's
yeah,
fire.
So
yeah.
kind of, in the social media world that we're all in, and I kind of talked to you about this kind of when we started getting a little bit bigger. By a little bit bigger, I mean, starting to get consistently get, a few thousand views whenever we do shorts and stuff like that on TikTok. And when kind of that, I mean, you can call it success for us. You've had real million, 100,000 millions views, but when that kind of success comes, it comes with criticism, whether it's jealousy or people like that. And for what we do, especially, I kind of couldn't think of two more polarizing things where people could hate on besides sports takes and reaction videos. So like with the success comes the hate, and we've all had our fair share of it. How did you kind of manage that? Because for me and James, especially when we first got I remember where we were when we first got our first thousand viewed, and then we got our first hate comment. So
Man,
it's
it
like,
hurt.
how do you handle those hate comments? Is it just, do you even pay attention to them, or does it help you fuel you, or does it affect you? Because it affected us, honestly.
When I started, it was terrible. It
Mhm.
was awful. I mean, I legit had death threats. Like, I'm not even kidding. That's how bad it was. And I mean, I would get DMs just flooded of people saying like they hate me. Like I had no idea who these people were. And I think what motivated me was just the vision I had. It was just so tunnel vision. I knew, I was aligning myself with my purpose, which is content creation. That I knew, regardless of what people were saying, that I knew where I was going, regardless. And I know that, like, as bad as it might sound, like bad attention is still attention. So, like eh, it's just boosting me at the end of the day. So I don't really look at it as, something that is affecting me negatively. I would say that honestly, when people are hating on you, sometimes it means you're doing something right. So that's kind of how I take it. I roll with the punches.
For sure.
Man, they were brutal for me to start. I mean,
Some of
I
them were ruthless.
What
after
happened? What
after
happened? What was your
nothing
first?
like nothing, I don't even remember what they said, but I was just like, I mean, we're just three guys that are just having a good time. Like, dude, if you don't like it, just move on.
I don't know. There was one with Tanner that was really bad. I guess I'll say it. It's not. This wasn't a bad word, but Tanner said some take, and you know how Tanner is. Tanner is, goofier and whatever, some wild takes. And someone commented, and I laughed at it. And the dude's like, the dude on the left genuinely looks retarded.
Yeah.
And I was like that's brutal. That was said about me. Like that would put me down a little bit. And
Oh, I'd quit. I'd quit the
Tanner was
podcast.
just like, I love that shit. Feed me the haters. Like,
You can't.
but
You can't.
yeah.
Like I said, you have to have tunnel vision, and those
Mm,
comments just got to fuel you, and you just got to be locked in. That's it.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I know one of the ones that got me one time was I was previewing the Michigan Ohio State game, And I knew everyone was picking Michigan, so I want to be different, pick Ohio State. And someone commented is like, the dude on the right with the huge man boobs is really picking Ohio State to beat Michigan. And I was like, I can bench 270. Get hop off me. Like
Get off me. Get
You know,
off.
but sometimes when you like when somebody says something like that too, like you got to own it and then you got to
yeah.
roll. You see a lot of people that get hate comments and they just own it, whatever people are
Mhm.
saying, and then they roll with it and then they make a bag.
Yeah.
That's fire.
Literally, yeah, honestly.
That's true. I guess that my question, another question would be like, what's your like end goal? Like, do you want to become a full-time, like every day you're just, I mean, I know every day you're probably grinding to post and to react to videos, but like, do you want it to be like your 100% source of income?
So no, that really just shows my skill set. That page. I'm more business oriented. I'm looking to start a business. And you know, I do social media management, content creation, a little bit of website design development, and then consultation based services. So like this.
Mm,
But so that's kind of more the route I'm going. I'm doing content for businesses. So, you know, like I don't know if you know TikTok Shop,
mm,
but there's a lot of people out there that have products that need videos and they have no idea how to make videos. So that's also a market I'm kind of breaking into where, you know, we're getting in and we're pitching them a certain amount of videos per month and all those things. So my idea of where I'm going is business oriented. It's more towards the business. I love what I do with my page. It's a fun thing. I don't think it could be a number one source of income. I don't think it's sustainable. You know, what do you do? Oh, I react to videos for a living. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, I want something that's more respectable, I guess you could say.
Yeah, no,
no,
that's fair. That's super fair. Yeah.
I didn't, you talked about the business side of it. How did you know, get in the process of making your own social media agency? Like, how did that start? Did it start before the reaction videos, or was it before you blew up? Was it after you blew up? And which kind of your day to day with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually in my office space right now. I'd love to show you guys, but I'm sure it'd be too long. I'll show you guys off. But so really it started, you know, when I was doing my social media stuff for myself, I said, you know, if I could do this for myself, why can't I provide this as a service to businesses? And that's kind of where it started. And then you know, I did like my local chamber of commerces. I don't know if you guys know what those are, but just a place of business. If you have a business and you know you're local, there's a chamber of commerce. You can network. There's different events. So I got super involved in that, and then I also joined you know a couple referral groups. So I'm kind of a one man show. I do a little bit of outsourcing with what I do, but it helps to have a team, you know. And so these people can all refer me. They all trust me, and yeah, so that's kind of how I've built that is just networking more in person and really establishing that. Because as you guys know, through COVID, I didn't do much presenting in
Yeah.
class and I didn't really get that experience. So now standing up and speaking is kind of different for me. And it's taken me 2 years. I mean, this is my master's degree, what I've been doing
Yeah.
right now. It's taken me 2 years to really be able to stand up in front of a room of people and confidently speak. And it's, you know, it's done wonders for me, but you know, it's taken some time. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, kind of how I got started, and yeah, where I'm going. I guess where I'm going too is like I said, more towards you know helping local businesses in the Chicagoland region, and then helping brands build their online presence through you know TikTok or Instagram or
Yeah, that's fire. I mean, I'm seeing you on Instagram. One of your TikToks popped up, and then I like, it's like you find a friend on TikTok that you might not originally follow, and then you hit their page, and then you just watch every one of their videos. And it's like I did that with Mayo, like our video editor.
Mm,
He like popped up my For You page, and it was like a video he posted months ago. And then next thing you know, I'm like, dude, I didn't even know like Mayo was producing this kind of content. And then
mm.
man, this is fire. Like, and so it's cool to kind of see, a friend's, Instagram or TikTok page, and they're just doing their thing. Because I mean, that's what we're doing, right? We're talking sports like we were gonna do no matter what. We're just putting
Mm.
ourselves maybe more vulnerable out there and putting a camera in front of us. So yeah, I mean, I love it. So
yeah. See, that's what I respect about you guys is like I think that you're kind of coming into a space where it can be tough. People don't like to put themselves out there. But you also know the risk of not doing it, right?
Yeah.
You know the risk of not doing it. And by you doing it, it shows the type of person you are. And so I think that's really cool. Like I said before, that you guys are really putting yourself out there and doing something that to be honest, most people don't have the balls to do it. They don't. So, you know, big
Yeah,
ups.
that's where the haters come from. So people that don't have the balls to honestly to do it. But I think James brought up an interesting point. Like a lot of people way more so than you than us know you as a reactor or a person on social media. And like, we know you as obviously like a human being. We're friends. We've had conversations, a lot of conversations in person. And so like take us through kind of like the day to day that you have of obviously you're doing your masters. We're all in our early 20s. So like, how do you balance the content creation with still being in school? And what's kind of like your day to day with that, so people can maybe humanize you a little bit more. And besides the people that only follow you on Instagram that just see the reaction videos.
Yeah, so when I said my master's, I meant that running my business for the past 2 years has pretty much been a master's
Oh,
program.
yeah.
I've been in the learning process. So my day to day is I wake up at like, I don't know, 7, kind of get ready around 8. I'll head down to my office space I'll get here probably about 9:30 typically. And then, I just get to work. And so what I'll do is I'll edit videos for clients. I'll edit videos for myself. I'll create videos for myself. I'll get to emails. I'll do a little bit of networking. I have a lot of people in my building. So, a little bit of like door knocking to a degree, like walking in, introducing myself,
Mhm.
and kind of just, familiarizing people with me and my brand. But yeah, I think a lot, and you bring up a good point too. A lot of times these influencers, people kind of idolize these people, and I've never been the type of person. No, I've gotten recognized, many times, and
Mhm.
they're like, "Oh my gosh, like you're that guy," and you react to those videos, and I'm like, I'm just a regular guy, man. Like I'm having fun, I'm doing what I like to do, but like at the end of the day, like I'm just a regular person. And I never understood that like idolization of people. And now that I have this following, I understand it even more because I look at these people with 10 times more followers than me and I go, they think the same thing. We're
Mhm.
just human, right? We're just human. But I hold Jason Tatum to a specific standard. I hold him high.
We'll have to
He's
get
not
into
just
that.
human, right?
We'll have to get into that.
But yeah,
But
so I would say that's kind of like my daily routine. Um, and the consistency just keeps me really locked in.
mm,
And that's honestly the key to my success is just consistency, doing it over and over and over and over and over. I'll eat Chipotle every day. I'll come to the office the same time every day. I'll do the same things every day, every week, and that's what's going to get me there. And that's
yeah,
what's going to get you there.
I have to
yeah.
join you.
James is also a Chipotle
Every day.
lover.
Man, ooh, every day. Come on.
Y'all see that Chipotle be skimming on their servings though? I saw a whole TikTok yesterday that's like boycott Chipotle if they don't give you the right serving, just walk out right there.
I did see that. I did see that TikTok where someone was like, "Can I have chicken?" And they're like, "Can I have a little more chicken?" And they said no. So he literally just walked out. And I'm like, dude, it's not that. It's like,
He's like, nah, never mind. And then he just walked away. I was
Yeah,
yeah,
like, jeez.
but
whatever next is.
yeah, we can get into a little ball now. Obviously, you're from the Chicagoland area. You're a big Bulls fan, and I actually just made a TikTok that I just put in the drafts about. I'll give you guys a sneak peek that I think the Bulls need to blow it up. The report came out the other day that they want to re-sign DeMar, and DeMar is a great player, but he's on the wrong side of 30, well on the wrong side of 30, and he's going to be a negative asset moving forward. So you're a Bulls fan. You follow them pretty heavily. What's your thoughts on the Bulls? Do you think they should blow it up? Do you think they should try to run it back? Do you think Lonzo coming back could be some sort of a miracle if he comes back to them like it was a few years ago? Just what are your thoughts on the team?
It's just tough all the way around. There's no good way to cut it. Okay, the Bulls suck. All
Oh yeah.
right. That's really it. The Bulls just straight up
Mm.
suck. And their management, just from the top all the way down, there needs to be a change. the last year going into the year, I thought, hey, I think people are being really hard on Zach. I think they're being really hard on DeMar. I don't know if there needs to be a change. I think that they're just not necessarily a change in the players or the team. I just think like the energy needs to change. Something about the energy of that team needs to change because you look back last year, you see the games they played, and they would always give up in the fourth quarter, bro. Like every time you get to the fourth quarter, they could have 100-point lead and it would be erased by the end of the fourth quarter. And the ball would be in DeMar's hands, and everybody would know that DeMar's going to chuck up 20 shots at the end of the game. And they just, that was it. That was the scene. All last. I thought to myself, maybe they need to switch up. But now this year, after seeing everything that happened now last season, it needs to be blown up.
Yeah. Thank you. Finally, a Bulls fan that has some common sense.
No, it has to
I've
be.
been saying what?
It has to be. I agree.
I'll tell you what, the Bulls, the worst place you can be in any professional sport is in purgatory, where you're not bad enough to get the number 1 overall pick, and you're not good enough to be a top 6 seed. Every single year the plan has been invented, besides like the COVID year. I don't even know if the Bulls were in the bubble. They might have been too atrocious to be there.
I think we were.
They were.
But they've been in the plan. Besides the 1 year they're the 6th seed and got waxed by Giannis and the Bucks. So I don't know. Look,
I know what to do.
Yeah.
You email Jerry Reinsdorf and you say, hey, buddy, what is going on with your teams right now?
MJ has been gone for 30 years.
Not even that, dude. He has the Chicago White Sox, who I don't know if you guys have been seeing videos of their games. They're maybe getting 225 fans in the stadium.
Yeah, the Rays are out drawing them.
They're making the Trop look like Fenway.
Which it is.
Buddy.
Trop's a top 3 stadium.
So, like, Jerry Reinsdorf needs to just take a retirement party to, like, Australia and just sell the team. Tell them you had your legacy. You had.
I'll tell you what. You'll get a cool $4 billion for the Bulls. I'll tell you what. You'll get
a cool billionaire to come in and buy it and revamp the team. Like, God, it's so frustrating. Thank God I'm not a White Sox fan, because if I was a White Sox fan and a Bulls fan, I mean, Jerry Reinsdorf would be number 1 and most hated human beings on the list. So he needs to sell the team. That's the proposition there.
No, I don't disagree in the slightest. Yeah.
So are you a fan? Are you a Miami fan or are you an Orlando fan?
I'm a Magic fan. So we finessed you guys on the Vucevic trade, and we got 2 first-round picks. Got 2 first-round picks. One of those first-round picks was Franz Wagner, who's going to get the rookie max extension. He's one of the best players under 23. And, the Magic were in a similar position as the Bulls. The Magic were the 7, 8, 9, 10 seed every year, when their core was Aaron Gordon, Evan Fournier, Nikola Vucevic. And then they blew it up, and they were really bad. They drafted Paolo. They drafted Franz. They drafted Jalen Suggs. And now for the next X amount of years, they're going to be a top 5 seed in the East. I mean, it's hard to do. It's hard to own up to, like, this team isn't good enough. Now sell. You don't need to give DeMar 30+ million for the next 3 years. It just doesn't need to happen.
I wanted to say something about DeMar because you brought that up. So I think that you could put Franz Wagner on this Bulls team and you put him back to his rookie year, he wouldn't be the same player. Yeah. You look at Wendell Carter Jr. He wasn't I'm going to say it, he was ass on the Bulls. Lauri Markkanen was good, but he wasn't peak. And then you look at even Gafford. Look at Gafford now, bro.
Starting center on a playoff team.
Yeah. He's amazing. He's an amazing player. And now he's on the Magic, the Mavs. And, look at the Bulls. So it's just I think that with DeMar is their player development coach. And you just look it up like that. He is the only person in that building that knows how to develop players. Kobe White is only Kobe White because of DeMar. You look at Ayo Dosunmu, he's only the player he is right now because of DeMar. If DeMar was not on that team, they would just be sitting on the bench just rotting away. They wouldn't, I don't know what.
I don't even know if that's a hot take, because you just named 4 players that were on the Bulls and now are thriving elsewhere. I have a love-hate relationship with Wendell since he's on the Magic. He's good sometimes and bad sometimes, but he's starting center on a playoff team. Say what you want, but You can come pay me to be the player development coach, and I won't cost you 30 million. I'll tell you that. For
What
you
are you
can
gonna
give me
say?
an internship basis and just let me sit on the bench, and I will develop these guys. I don't need 30 million, but yeah, I know I made a video about the Celtics the other day when they lost. Um, I have an inkling that you're not a big Celtics fan. You mentioned Jason Tatum a little bit earlier. Uh, what's your do you have beef with
Tatum
He did.
sucks.
what's your beef with the Celtics?
They just have a terrible fan base. Them in Philly, they
Yeah,
got the worst fan bases. So that's number one. Number two, when Jason Tatum was coming up, I didn't mind Tatum. He was good.
Mhm.
I still think Tatum's a great player, and
Mhm.
I'm not that much of a hater that I can't recognize that. But what
Mhm.
I can say is that he never gets the job done when it counts, and people ride this dude like he's next up. He's the best thing since sliced bread in the NBA. And he's just straight up not. And I think it's unfair to put that on a player. And so I wouldn't be such a Tatum hater if I didn't see this. So the exact thing that made me a Tatum hater was that Instagram post right before they lost in the 2022 finals where he texted Kobe
I
and
got
he
you.
said, "I got you." And it was the corniest thing I've ever seen in my life. And then he proceeds to lose. And then everybody forgets about it. And then they're calling him like the Green Mamba. And I'm just like, dude, this is, it just made me, I was like, okay, the fans are putting him on this, they're putting him on a stool. They're saying like, oh, he's the best guy ever, like, cool, whatever. But then he started saying like, he's that type of guy too. And then I just lost it. I was like, this guy is nothing. So
That's funny.
that's kind of where that's the origin of the lore.
I mean, that's a fair hatred, you could say. I mean, just the simple fact. Oh boy, where'd I go? Oh, here we go. I'm back. Just the simple fact is you talk about just the being humble, right? Being humble and like you watch the Joker accept his MVP and he couldn't care. He couldn't care less. Like he was just, oh, that's cool. Like I got to go buy another horse. Like
Yeah,
that's
I don't
cool.
know if you, I
Right?
don't know if
But like,
Jokic cares about.
and sure, it's a bad example, but it's not because he's the MVP, right? So it's clearly a good example because Tatum is supposed to be this godsend, right? And he is a very good player. I agree with you. I'm not the biggest Tatum fan. I think he's fun to watch, but I think he's on a loaded Celtics team, so it's like congratulations, right? But I look at guys, and that's my hatred towards LeBron. I just I don't think he's crazy humble. I like the guys that go out there and they just do what they were gifted to do and what they work to do, and their recognition will just go, it will be there because of what they're doing on the court. They don't need to go out there and post on Instagram, I got you to Kobe. Like that is, I kind of forgot about that. So honestly, thank you for reminding me. But you know what I mean? Like the humbleness of the Joker and just some other names in the league are what make them so incredible for me and make me draw to them and like them more.
I will be the devil's advocate for Jason Tatum. So in this sense, Boston is probably the hardest basketball town to play in and to come in and to be a star. Them and the Lakers have the most history at anyone. Those fans are ruthless. Like it's the hardest to be there and be a star. And Tatum has been damn near in the Eastern Conference Finals every single year since he was 18 years old. It's always the meme going around. It's like top players under 22, and it's still Jason Tatum on there because Jason Tatum's 20 years old still. But yeah, if I was that good, if I was 6'7", had a handle, and was first team All NBA and had a supermax deal, I probably wouldn't be very humble either. I'm just saying it like it is. I hope God would bless me a little bit for with some humility. But if I had a supermax contract worth 280 million and I played for one of the best franchises in sports and I'm in the Eastern Conference Finals every year, but look, and it's also unfair. Like Tatum probably isn't a number one on a championship team. Now they might win it this year. I have my thoughts about the Celtics, but I mean, how many number ones are out there right now that could be a number one on a championship team? Like who's done it? Jokic has done it, and you can even argue LeBron's can't do it anymore because he's a million years old. Steph can do it. Steph's done it. Steph did it 2 years ago. it's like there's only 5 or 6 guys that can be a number one. And Nick Wright had a great point a few weeks ago. It's like, I don't think you can say someone can be a number one on a championship team until they do it. So that's why I don't think Anthony Edwards right now can be a number one on a championship team. He had 18 points last night in the biggest game of the series. And before that, I know he had 45 points, and he's been unreal this playoffs. But I mean, these guys, I mean, I think Tatum's like 26, and we're putting this impossible pressure on them to be something that maybe they're not yet in their career. Now, the coordiness that he does is, I can't back that up. And also just, the Bulls and Celtics, it's not as intense rivalry as maybe Celtics Lakers or even Celtics Philly, but it's still there. I'm sure you don't like the Celtics to begin with. The Magic have never been that good for me to really have a rival, so I don't know that NBA rivalry. But yeah, I will play devil's advocate because my roommate Carter is from St. Louis, and he's a big Jason Tatum fan because Tatum was from St. Louis. But I love the head shake. But yeah, sorry to play devil's advocate.
It's tough. It's tough. Honestly, what I like about a guy like Anthony Edwards is like, and I also want to your point, to say like, it's hard to put pressure on these guys to be like that guy, right? When they're not there yet. And that's totally fair. But like a guy like Anthony Edwards, I like because he knows when to talk the talk and he knows when to walk the walk. He
Great
knows
point. Mm-hmm.
you see all the press conferences of him, and he's always like, man, that guy's good. Like he's a good player. We just got to play our ass off like next game. But when he's on the court, it's a different story, bro. I mean, he's talking the talk, So I really like that, and I think that Tatum needs to take something out of that book. And maybe more people would.
No, I don't disagree with you. I 100% agree. To be where these guys are at, you need to have that certain level of not cockiness, but maybe like self-assurance that like, I'm that guy. I need to be that guy. But you got to be able to kind of turn it on and off, kind of like Ant does. But where we're at right now, Eastern Conference semifinals for East Series. This will come out tomorrow. So Boston plays tonight. So the Evil Empire could move on to the second round or to the conference finals, like for the 8th straight year or whatever. But if you had to pick one team, one finals matchup, who do you like right now? The Denver's up 3-2 in that series. OKC plays tonight. That series is 2-2. By the way, implosion by the Mavs in that game the other day. 53% from the line, just brutal. And then obviously whoever comes out of the Knicks Pacers series might not even have any limbs left because it's just a war down there. But if you had to pick a finals matchup and a finals winner, who do you like right now?
Let's hear it, James.
All right, I'll go first. So just briefly on the Knicks Pacers, I had predicted that that's going to be a Cavs Magic series for me, and I don't want to watch. Man, am I wrong? It's been the most entertaining series for me of the playoffs. And you know what? I think the Knicks are going to beat the Pacers, right? They've got the lead. And I think the Knicks could beat the Celtics. I'm not going to put any money on it. I'm not going to really back that take. I'm going to say the Celtics are going to be in the finals, but I'm telling you, that series, I think, is going to build so much grit for those guys that who cares? Who cares if we just played maybe a 7-game series against the Pacers, right? We can go beat Boston, whatever. It's a coin flip now, right? So Boston, obviously, on paper is the better team, and on the injury report is better too. But I would say for me, I'm going to take the Celtics in the finals with the Nuggets in the finals. What the Joker has been able to do since I don't even know if he even paid attention to the criticism of people hating on him for winning an MVP. Sorry that he averaged a triple-double. Yeah. Like, get off.
I literally said that on the TikTok I posted this morning. It's like, Jokic wasn't good in game 1 or game 2, and he probably couldn't receive the MVP at any worse time in the playoffs. Yeah. And then he just decided to turn it on to a different level that honestly no one in the NBA can touch.
Nobody. I watched your TikTok. He scored 40 last night, and it didn't even look like he tried. Like, it is incredible.
Giving it to Rudy Gobert too, by the way. I'm like,
absolutely. And you know what? The Timberwolves are done. They're losing next game. They are absolutely done because they have no leadership right now to step up and just take care of the Joker. It's that simple. Take care of the Joker, right? And you have the defensive player of the year doing that, and he's
four-time
getting torched on the court. So I've got Nuggets playing the Celtics in the final. I don't have to make a prediction, but man, give me back to back. Denver's going back to back. So.
This is a tough one because I feel like you made all fair points.
Yeah.
What do I want to see? I'd love to see the Wolves versus the Celtics
Yeah.
or the Knicks. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd love. You know what? No, I'd say the Celtics because I want the Celtics to go all the way. I want it to be they're up 3-1, and then the Timberwolves just come back and just obliterate them.
Have it be 3-0. No one's ever come back from 3-0 in the
Yeah,
NBA playoff history.
3-0, right? I said 3-1, but 3-0, screw it. So, but I would say most likely at this point it's going to be Denver versus Celtics. And that's
Yeah.
just what it is. As much as I don't like it, I want to see the Celtics versus the Knicks because I think if the Knicks can get, if they can get maybe 2 games out of that series, it's just tiring the Celtics out for that finals. So I'm cool. I'm cool with the Knicks winning maybe 2 and tiring out the Celtics. So yeah, we'll say Denver Celtics finals.
I'll say one
And
more thing, Johnny, before you give your take.
yeah,
I want to talk about the Mavs for a quick second because don't sleep on them. Okay.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is because we have yet in this playoffs to see a Luka and Kyrie game
We
together.
haven't
Where
seen Luka. Luka's been
oh,
very
correct,
ordinary,
Luka's been
and I
bad.
think
He
he's
was at
hurt.
18.
He's got something because
He went 6 for 20 or something like that. Like not good basketball. But I'm telling you, like these are two superstars, right? Luka, Kyrie, um, unreal players, incredibly gifted, and we haven't seen them play together yet. And if they can get past OKC, I wouldn't put it past them to beat the Nuggets, right? So I'm not sleeping on the Mavs. But they definitely have to turn it up. They're not gonna win anything playing this level of basketball. But man, you're talking about two superstars who can just literally turn it on, and next thing you know, they get hot. Watch out OKC and then watch out Denver. So
yeah. No, I don't hate that. And but both of you guys made very good points. I'm so hesitant to like even pick New York to get out of this series because they like literally have 5.5 players.
yeah.
I've never seen anything like it in my time watching basketball. I mean, I, it blows my mind. They don't have OG, they don't have Mitchell Robertson, they don't have Julius Randle, obviously. And OG is the big one. He's the one that maybe could come back this playoff. But I mean, I turn on the TV the other day and I'm texting Tanner. And he's like, Alec Burks fucking has 12 points at halftime. Like, this is ridiculous. He didn't even play in the series before this game. And he's just, of course, it would come against the Pacers. And I'm like, yeah, we're getting Alec Burks minutes right now. Like, he was on the Pistons earlier this year. And then for Boston, I had to turn on the game 4 a little later because I was watching the Rays probably lose again. And I turn on the game and I see Luke Cornett on the floor. And I love me some Luke Cornett. I watch SEC basketball. He went to Vanderbilt. Big white guy. Looks
Yeah,
like he should be a mailman.
correct.
And he's playing because Kristaps Porzingis is hurt. Boston isn't going anywhere until Porzingis gets back. The East is so bad right now. I mean, you could argue the 3 best teams in the East or 4 best teams in the East was Boston, Philly, Milwaukee, and New York. And 2 of them are out in the first round because of injury. And the third one might not even miss the East Conference Final because of injury. But I would pick Celtics, and a lot of people, might, give them some shit for having the easiest path to the final, but like they won 64 games. Like you have to be rewarded for what you do in the regular season. So, they get this path, whatever, do what you're supposed to do, win is everything is finals and best for them. James, you brought up a great point with the Mavericks, but they should have won game 4. That game's at home. You have control of that game and you shoot 54% from the line. It's bad. I mean, in the playoffs like this, with OKC such a young, energized team, very rarely do you win a series when you give away games you should have won. It is a very big difference between 2-2 and 3-1. And then Denver, I mean, Tanner was ready to anoint Edwards as Michael Jordan after they're up 2-0. And Tanner's working right now. We didn't replace Nate with Tanner. Tanner got called into work last minute, even though Nate's welcome to come on and be a
Whenever
fourth.
you yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Tanner is still breathing. But so yeah, and I called Denver would come back in that game anyway. The thing in that series, but the thing that bugs me with Denver is like Jamal Murray's been really inconsistent in the playoffs, and the reason why they won the finals last year is because he like turned into like God out of nowhere and just started messing everyone up. And Michael Porter Jr. has also been really inconsistent. I mean, he shot 2 of 10 last night, and very rarely do you kind of get past games like that. But if you had a gun to my head and you're like, who's winning the finals? I would say it would be Celtics, Denver. We all have it, but I would say the Celtics. simply because I think Porzingis comes back by then, by the finals. And God, he said, I know that look, but
This is the
the
thumbnail.
that's funny. The spacing he gives them, like Luke Cornett should not be playing 50 plus minutes on a championship contending team. It can't happen, right? And that moves Al Horford back to the bench, makes him a little deeper. Peyton Pritchard kind of gets back to that 15 to 20 minute per game range where he's been. Derek White, it's been really bad from shooting from the field. But he does so much other stuff where, it doesn't really matter. But, it might kill Nate deep down inside if the Celtics win and Tatum's finals MVP. But, I kind of like parity. So I'll pick the Celtics, but Jason Tatum's.
It'd be a Jaylen Brown MVP, by the
Yeah,
way.
that would be crazy. He can't go left.
He
Yeah, I
can't.
got a better left hand than you. Trust me, James. That power during basketball practice, that power left hand layup you got during warm ups is better than Jalen
It's
Brown's
better.
left hand.
It's
I'll
better.
put
It's
that on.
better.
I'll
I'd
put
say
that on everything.
I didn't even see it, and I'd say it's better.
It's probably
So,
better. No, I like that. I think obviously like one team we literally did not talk. Well, there's two teams we didn't talk about. It's the Pacers who can obviously win
Yeah,
that
they could
series.
win the series very easily.
Obviously, they could give Boston a fight. OKC again, Johnny had mentioned they're a young, scrappy team.
Yeah, they go through young teams go through stepping stones. You
Right.
don't go from the play-in to not making it to being the one seed and winning the finals. I've never seen it happen. If it happens, Shea's the best player in the league. I mean,
But then at the same time, right, when I look at young, scrappy players, for me personally, if I'm making a prediction, I'm going to say, yeah, they're probably not going to make it too far just because of the inexperience and whatnot. But then again, with how talented the NBA is nowadays and how much young talent we're getting, that could change. That idea of playoff team, a team that was dead last and then they go and win the finals, right? That's what the Warriors did, right? Like I'm saying that it's not impossible for OKC to first of all win that series and even fight to get to the finals just because of the young scrappiness that they have. So
I said it's very realistic. I mean, they got home court advantage back. Could very well happen.
that series is far from over, right? That
Agreed.
series is far from over. So
I agree. I like that take. Just before you move on to the next point, I just want to say I like that take. I think that OKC. I mean, my favorite teams right now are probably OKC and Timberwolves. I like both those teams. I think we could all say that. But I definitely think they have that scrappiness, and that series is not over. That
it's
series,
exciting. It's a good series. Yeah.
it could definitely.
No, for sure. No, I mean it's been a great playoff. I mean, normally you're used to seeing. Recently it's been Steph, LeBron, even Giannis has always been deep. Joel has never made these conference finals, but he's usually at least in the second round at least. But so you're seeing some new blood, and I love to see it. I love Ant on the court, talking his talk. I love Shea and how the entire Thunder team, except for Josh Giddey, comes around and does the interview.
That poor guy, man. That poor guy.
He's got his media training right now. They're not.
Yeah,
They stay out of the spotlight. Don't go anywhere near it.
they're gonna be like, Josh, what's your favorite characteristic about girls 15 to 17 years old?
Dude.
Yeah.
False. It wasn't true.
Hey, I mean, he's not suspended, but
I just want to say any of these teams right now could make it to the finals,
except for the Caps.
Except for the Cavs. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
except for the Cavs. We know, but that was already in my mind. They already lost.
And the Pacers.
Even though Donovan Mitchell has been more important to any playoff team or player, I mean, he's been outrageously good. But yeah, the Cavs, trust me,
They're not the team that's going to come back from 3-1, right?
No, they're not.
They're,
Well, I already chalked that up as a loss.
Yeah, no,
You know,
for sure.
I
No,
already-
I agree with you. I think any of the other was that 7 teams could make the finals. It wouldn't surprise me. The Pacer one might surprise me a little bit just because they're another young team, but like I wouldn't be like, oh my goodness, this is I don't even know. This is St. Peter's to beating Purdue to go to the Elite Eight bad. I know Tanner isn't here, but
or FDU. I mean,
yeah, FDU,
North Texas. All those Purdue.
God, Tanner's getting all these jabs when he's not here. But
Right.
Nate, before we go, kind of tell everyone, what's next for you? Like, what does your next month or two look like? What does your summer look like, content creation wise, brand wise? What does your next summer look like? And where do you want to be from a year from now? Where do you want to be May 15th, 2025?
Good question. So I just want to say first off, thank you guys for obviously having me on, and I would love to come on again.
Of course, you have an open invite whenever you want to come on. This is a bunch of fun.
I want to come back. Tanner's here. Tanner, I swear They didn't call me to replace you. Swear,
No,
swear they didn't.
we gave Tanner the wrong Zoom time. We're
Thanks for the $50. Thanks for the
Got you.
but yeah, I would say I want to learn more about you guys too. So we gotta tap in with that. But for me, in the next couple months, I would say I'm just picking up more clients. So, really working on building my business, getting myself out there even more, doing events, just getting in front of more faces. A year, what did you say, 2025 next?
May 15th, 2025. What's your goal?
I think goal setting is a big thing too. I
Mhm.
might yap about this for a second, but I think a lot of people put their goals up here and then they're down here and they're always looking up at them. They're like, oh, they're just goals. But when you align yourself with your goal and you start to realize you are the goal, like I am the goal, and you start treating it like that, every day I do affirmations, right? It might sound stupid,
No,
but
I don't think
I
so at
do
all.
affirmations.
Yeah.
And every day I say the same thing to myself. I am so grateful that I now have, and then I put my goals. So
Yeah.
I'm aligning myself with that. And it starts to come to you over time. You
Yeah.
start to see, instead of the glass being half empty, it's half
Yeah.
full. So,
Yeah.
I think a year from now, I don't think I know.
Mhm.
I'm looking at a 7-figure agency. I'm looking at traveling the world kind of on a whim, my leisure, whenever I want,
Mhm.
but checking out some new things. Um, right now, I currently am still living at home, but I have my office space. So moving out, having my own place, a couple roommates,
Yeah.
and just living somewhere in Chicagoland. So, home of the
Yeah.
Windy City. So
I,
somewhere around
I,
here.
I think what you said is huge. And a lot of people might hate on that, but those people are the same people that comment and give death threats or whatever. Like those are the people that are small-minded people that don't want to do what it takes to be successful. When we sat down to do this podcast, the main goal is like, let's have fun, let's do this. But when we hit our first 100, it's like, okay, let's get a brand deal and get to 200. And now when we hit 200, let's get to 300. And then, we got our first brand deal, right? And then we got to 200, and then we got to 300. And now it's like, let's just grow as fast as possible. Even though James graduated, like, let's just keep going. So no, trust me, everything you said was money. James and I will actually be in the Chicagoland area. I got an internship in Peru, Illinois. You probably don't even know where that is, with
Oh, I
the
know where that
pistol.
is.
Um, Bet. So
Got
come
it.
out to a pistol shrimp game. I'll be the broadcast intern. James is on the PA. So we'll have a lot of backyard banner influence in Peru, Illinois with the pistol shrimp this summer.
I will make sure to be there and we can set something up. Maybe we could do in-person
For
podcasts.
sure. That would
You
be
guys,
that would be legendary. I know
you
Tanner would
guys
be in the area either.
you guys can come out to my office space. It's in Chicagoland. It's in
Yeah.
that area. And we can meet here because these rooms are really nice. I mean, you could check it out. It's like
Oh yeah.
super.
That's money. Oh, we could for sure do that.
I
No,
guess we'll invite Tanner, I guess. I mean,
yeah. We'll slide Tanner
we'll send
a
him an
little
invite.
invite. But no, for sure. Definitely a part two coming. There's a lot of dead time in the off season. Plenty of time to just we don't talk about sports. We can just talk about life. I mean, we can talk about anything. But Nate, this was a blast. It was awesome. Thanks for having you on. There will be a part two. It's going to be in the works. There will be a part two, hopefully in person. But if you guys made it all the way to the end, leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment. Check out Nate on all of his social medias. He's on Instagram, TikTok at Nate Dank. So I appreciate you guys who made it this far for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.